of course, I'm going to start out by thanking y'all. We really appreciate y'all being out here. To everyone coming out, we really appreciate it. Whether you're supporting me or supporting my my arch nemesis, Mr. Coffman over here. We joke, but he's my teammate now. He's one of my best friends. And I told him in the elevator jokingly, if I were to lose, it would be horrible to lose to the assistant coach of our team. So, but no, in all honesty, he's an outstanding guy, and he's even a better debater. He was #2 in the nation last year. And it's very intimidating to be standing up here across from him. So, and I know he's excited about our topic because he wants to be. He's not only an education guy, but he wants to be a coach. So, we're definitely debating standardized tests are better than essay tests. So, and I'm defining it short and straight up. Standardized tests are objective, multiple choice, true, false tests, better than, more beneficial. Essay, written evaluations, completed by the student. And your weighing mechanism is going to be probability. Basically, judges, you are the manager of a school district, you're the superintendent, and you're deciding whether or not you want to use essay tests or standardized tests to evaluate your students. We're going to talk about high school graduation exams. Basically, in order for the students to move on away from high school, how does the district evaluate? And now, just some resolution analysis real quick. This means obviously I'm going to be advocating the benefits of standardized tests and the cost of essay tests. However, Mr. Coffman can't just stand up here and say standardized tests are bad. He has to show us why the problems that exist within the standardized testing system are fixed under the essay testing system. Otherwise, he's maybe proving something's wrong, but hasn't proven a solution to it. So he has to advocate that essay testing is actually be more effective for whatever reason than standardized tests. And I'm sure he's going to do an outstanding job doing that. But let's go ahead and jump into the case. The first point is going to be standardized tests eliminate subjectivity. So point A is going to be objective standardized tests. The purpose of our education system is quite simple. It's to teach our students and prepare them to go out in the world. So within our education system, just like in debate, there's a necessity for proper evaluation. The reason why you have ballots today, judges, is to evaluate us and tell us what we're good at, what we need to work on, and how we need to better ourselves as debaters. The education system needs to provide that same feedback to our students. The problem is, the only way to evaluate students across the board is with objective tests. And it becomes a tool within the student evaluation. And the reason why is subpoint B is that essays become inherently subjective. The problem with these written evaluations is they're more than what's greater than just the knowledge of the actual subject material. The emotion behind how, the stylings of authors. It's the same reason why while some authors are considered great, we may not like certain authors. I'm a huge fan of Stephen King. I'm not such a fan of Edgar Allan Poe. It doesn't mean that the writing style, it just means the writing styles are different. But when you have a greater evaluating written responses, the emotions behind that written responses and the stylings of that author take into account the grading system. So it becomes objective, or it becomes subjective, not only to how the grader personally feels, but also about necessarily what the essay is about, and what it's chosen to written, or what is being chosen to be written about, the subject of the essay. And at the point the students are choosing completely different subjects to write about, it's improper to compare their responses not only to different students, but to different districts, and throughout the state in order to properly evaluate them. Your condition number 2 is going to be that these standardized tests are a true test of knowledge. Your subpoint A is going to allow for students to be properly prepared. It becomes a true comprehensive exam. Now remember, we're talking about high school graduation, which means these tests are covering what the general knowledge of our education system is supposed to be. An essay response is not going to adequately cover the material that we've covered in high school, because essays can essentially become one subject style responses and evaluations. But with these objective standardized tests, you're allowed to cover more areas and you're able to ask a lot more questions. And your subpoint B is going to be that essays restrict the amount of knowledge that can be tested. An example of this is like if we're testing over the subject of history. We've been through, no matter what state we come from, all different levels of historical education, whether it be from state level to national level to world level. The problem is this can't be measured adequately by essay responses, because then your test is going to be simple. It's going to be write an essay about World War II. Well, this neglects any knowledge that we have of state history, of World War I, of any previous social impacts of the United States, because it focuses on one very, very specific subject, as opposed to standardized tests, which can ask more questions, which can ask things like, who were the axis of evil that we consider in World War II, who was the major social influence in the 1920s, and all of these questions covered throughout history. It allows for more knowledge to be tested. And then subpoint C, there's certain areas of subjects that cannot be tested by essay evaluations. How do you write an essay over the periodic table of elements? How do you write an essay concerning how to solve trigonometry, calculus, and any of these essential components of our education system? And what we see is that when standardized tests not only cover all these areas, when we see it's the true test of knowledge, when we see that it's an objective standard to test not only our students but our districts and teachers, standardized tests are better than essay tests.
Mr. Goss?
Yes, sir.
Anybody else? Okay, first and foremost, let's talk about the fact that you told me that some subjects can be tested for,
Yes.
right? And you gave me the examples of trig and the periodic table?
Yeah, science and math are ones that
They cannot be evaluated via essay.
No, I would definitely say no.
Okay.
Like I said, I can't write an essay telling you why, the symbol for helium is He.
Okay,
Or something.
and then you talk about the fact that it restricts knowledge, and you have social influences, and then
It's not
the nice
necessarily
points, the
restricted of
access.
knowledge, it's restricted of the knowledge that can be tested. Because
Okay.
you're asking you a question about one specific, event without the whole subject, because you're restricted by having to formulate an essay to respond
I
to.
got you. So, is it the job of a teacher in school to teach skills or to teach facts?
Teach facts.
To teach facts?
No, it wasn't to teach knowledge. Our debate is whether how we measure, if that knowledge
So,
is
if
being
I'm a
taught.
teacher in math, do I need to teach you the skills on how to solve a problem, or to teach you the answer to every single problem?
No, you definitely need to teach how to solve the problem.
Okay, so
I mean,
it's the
and
skill.
test inherently, is what's tested because you give them the problems that they need to understand how to solve.
And you said it's
You
a
can't really
true-
write an essay about
And you
solving
say it's
that
the true
problem.
test of knowledge, right?
Correct.
Okay, now just a real quick question. Are teachers meant to teach all levels of learning or just knowledge?
What do you mean? I don't understand the question.
Okay. Knowledge is if knowledge were to say be a basic level of learning and there are higher levels of it, would we need to test the minimum level of learning to make sure the kids have it, or we need to test the highest level of learning?
I would think that if we're talking about the graduation, there should be some sort of medium. I don't think that we should test, give the absolute easiest graduation exam. I don't think we should test the highest graduation exam. There should be
Okay.
some medium that's tested over.
Okay.
And that's fair to make sure these students understand and, have proven to be completed over the education
Can you
system.
expand a little bit on your weighing mechanism for me? of
It's just
probability?
probability. I mean, it's simply whether the judges feel like that they would rather have essay tests in their school system or standardized tests in their school system.
Okay.
I mean, it's really straight up. There's nothing tricky.
You said eliminate subjectivity. So
That's the first point. Yes.
because the people who are grading it might have like a different feeling about the
Yeah, I mean, they can be completely biased, because personal life experience that they went through, they'd be more
Okay.
adapt to like certain stories maybe and more, rejective of certain